Welcome to chemistry online classes. Next topic is proteins. Proteins are polypeptides. More than 100 amino acids combines gives polypeptides, and this is also called as macropeptides. We call it as proteins. In this class we discuss classification of proteins and structure of proteins. Firstly we discuss classification of protein. Proteins can be classified based on the shape are based on the composition of protein. We are classifying into two types. Let's take first classification based on shape of the protein. Classification based on shape again divided into two types. First is globular protein, second one is fibrous protein. What is globular proteins? The molecule of globular protein, that is nothing but polypeptide, it folded, and the folded structure looks like spherical shape, and that's why these proteins we call it as globular proteins. The polypeptide chain folded such a way that it looks like a spherical shape, and those proteins we call it as globular proteins. Example: hemoglobin, myoglobin, this comes under globular protein. And these globular proteins are soluble in water. That means hydrophilic groups which will be there outside the spherical, and it can interact with the water molecule. It is readily soluble in water. When it comes to the fibrous proteins have long thread like structure, and this we call it as fibrous proteins. These are insoluble in water. Example: keratin. That means hydrophobic groups which will interact with the water molecule. Hydrophobic, and water is hydrophilic in nature. It may not soluble in water. This way, these are insoluble. So globular proteins are water soluble. Fibrous proteins are water insoluble. Let's look into second type of classification, that is classification based on the composition of protein. This again classified into three types. The first one is simple protein. What is simple protein? A protein which on complete hydrolysis results only formation of amino acids. These proteins we call it as simple protein. That means if we take a protein, if we do hydrolysis, we get only amino acid. Those proteins we call it as simple proteins. And hydrolysis always gives only amino acids. Example: keratin, albumin. This comes under simple protein. If we take this and hydrolyze, we get only amino acid. Next one, conjugated proteins. Conjugated proteins on hydrolysis, which gives amino acid. Along with the amino acid, there is a non-protein group which is present in the protein skeleton. This non-protein group we call it as prosthetic group, which on conjugated proteins on hydrolysis gives amino acid. Along with the amino acid, there is a non-protein group which is associated with the protein. That non-protein group we call it as prosthetic group. Let's take example: nucleoprotein, which contain nucleic acid as a prosthetic group. That is nothing but DNA and RNA along with the amino acid polypeptides. There is a prosthetic group which is present. Let's take second example: lipoprotein. Lipoprotein contains lipids as a prosthetic group. Glycoprotein, carbohydrate group is present. This we call it as glycoprotein. Along with the protein, there is a prosthetic group is present, and these proteins we call it as conjugated proteins. The next one is derived proteins. What is the derived proteins? These proteins are formed from native proteins by action of heat or chemical reaction. Let's take a natural protein is folded in alpha helical structure. By heating, the helical shape may be turned. So, as a result, denaturation takes place, and those proteins we call it as derived proteins or coagulated proteins. That means it will be precipitated out. These are the classification of proteins based on shape and based on composition. Let's move on to the next. We are moving into structure of protein, and we know that protein structure is complicated, and this we have to understand by stages. And these stages we call it as primary structures, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure. Let's look at individual. What is the primary structure? And primary structure which gives information about the sequence of amino acid which are present in the polypeptide or protein, and this we call it as primary structure of protein. Let's take, we have a n number of amino acid commonly formed a polypeptides, and to understand that we should know which sequence these amino acids are arranged in the protein. That information we get from the primary structure of protein. So here the peptide bonds form the backbone of the protein, and side chains, that is sp3 carbon, that is alpha carbon groups which projects outside the peptide backbone, and this we call it as primary structure which gives information about the sequence of amino acid which is present in the protein. Secondary structure of the protein, which involves spatial arrangement of polypeptide chain. In the first we got a sequence of amino acid, but this sequence of amino acid how it is oriented in the space, that information we get from the secondary structure. So usually peptide bond is a rigid bond. Why we call it as a rigid bond? In the last videos I have told that there is a partial double bond character which comes for the peptide bond because of lone pair of electron which will donate, which is converted into partially C double bond N, that is C single bond N, which shows partial double bond character. As a result, it will restrict rotation around the CN bond. But when it comes to the CC bond and CN bond, it will rotations will take place. That is, free rotation is possible between the CC bond and CN bonds in amino acids chain. As a result of this CC bond and CN bond, we get a number of conformations of polypeptide chains, and this we call it as secondary structure of the protein. Here we can see this is the C double bond O and here CN, and this part is amide which is present in the same one plane, carbon and nitrogen, and this is sp3 carbon, and here sp3 carbon r is oriented the different direction, r and h, one is front, other one is back. These are alpha carbon. So here if you look at this carbon nitrogen, the bond length is approximately 1.32 angstrom, 1.32 angstrom, C and N. But when you look at here, sp3 carbon and N, this bond length is approximately 1.47 angstrom. It is a almost perfectly single bond, but when it comes to here, it is a double bond character it is showing. That indicates that it is a partial double bond character is there. The rotation is not possible. The secondary structure mainly exists in two types: alpha helix and beta pleated structure. Alpha helix, helical geometry we can see, helix will be there in the two types again, alpha helix, beta helix. One is clockwise helical, another one is anti-clockwise helical. If you look at here, clockwise, this we call it as alpha helix. This is much more stable than beta helix. Most of the protein is having alpha helical structure. That's why I have taken alpha helix. And another one is pleated structure, beta pleated. So here there is a one amino polypeptide chain is there, another chain and another chain. So let assume this is N terminal, this is C terminal, and here it is completely opposite, C and N, and again the other one is N and C. So if you look at here, this is N terminal and this is N terminal, this is C terminal. These two sheets are parallel, that's why I have taking this one and this one is parallel. But if you look at the other one, this is N and this is C, these are anti-parallel, these are anti-parallel. So it again, the beta pleated structure is again two types, either parallel, parallel means two sheets will be there in the same direction, or anti-parallel means one will be there in the different direction. So majorly that secondary structure is associated either in the form of alpha helix or beta pleated structure. So here I am showing a N terminal to C terminal, C terminal to N terminal. This is beta pleated structure. And these are C terminal and N terminal. These are anti-parallel. Let's take another one in this fashion. So here starting from N terminal, the third protein chain, and here C terminal. So here C terminal, this one, these two are parallel and these two are anti-parallel. And this way the beta pleated structure is oriented again into two types. So from secondary structure, we know that the protein is folded. As a result of folding, we get so many conformation. But the lowest energy conformation, we call it as tertiary structure of the protein. The lowest energy conformation is known as the tertiary structure. This tertiary structure of the protein is biologically active, conformation, and it is known as native conformation of protein. So the protein, if it is exist in the lowest energy conformation, it shows biological activity, and this conformation we call it as native conformation. Whichever the native conformation structure is there, that structure we call it as tertiary structure of the protein. Carbonic anhydrase which exhibit a tertiary structure. So here I am taking one protein which is having a alpha helix and beta pleated structure. These are folded in this fashion. This is the stable or lowest energy conformation of particular protein. And here the stabilized due to the bonds. This is nothing but secondary bonding interaction. It may be hydrogen bonding, or maybe electrostatic interaction, or hydrophobic interaction, or disulfide bonds. So based on this, the folded structure is stabilized into lower energy structure that we call it as tertiary structure. The last one is quaternary structure. So the protein consists of two or more polypeptide chains. How these polypeptide chains held together by non-covalent force is referred as a quaternary structure of protein. The best example I am taking again hemoglobin. Hemoglobin has a quaternary structure, and this you have studied in the fourth semester. Hemoglobin is having alpha chain, two alpha chain and two beta chains. So alpha chain is having a different proteins, beta chain is having different protein, and which is each one is having one prosthetic group, heme group. So this entire unit we call it as quaternary structure of the protein, which is having more than two or more than polypeptide chains. How they have folded or how they are interacting in the stable structure, that we call it as quaternary structure of the protein. And these interactions mainly, as I mentioned, electrostatic interaction or hydrogen bonding or maybe disulfide bond or hydrophobic interactions. Conclusion, I can say that so to understand the protein structure, we have to go stepwise manner. In that, primary structure always will give you information about the sequence of amino acid, and secondary structure which gives the folding of the protein, generally alpha helix or beta pleated structure, and tertiary which gives In this folded structure, which is the most stable, lower energy conformation, that we call it as tertiary structure of the protein, and the molecule is present in the tertiary structure that we call it as native protein, which shows biological activity. Two or more polypeptide chains held together by non-covalent interaction, that structure we call it as quaternary structure. This is about classification of protein and structure of the protein.